Treyarch are making some more massive changes to Black Ops 7, which actually is making Black Ops 7 very promising. I'm talking about this could be the best game we've had since probably Black Ops 2, maybe Black Ops 3. But just before we get into the juicy parts, if you guys are excited for Black Ops 7, make sure to see for the like button. And while you're down there, make sure to subscribe. We are 3 subs away from hitting 5k subs. If you can get it by the end of the year, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you guys for supporting this channel. So Treyarch ended up dropping another one of their dev talk, this time talking about multiplayer changes. First of all, Matt talks about aiming down sights or ADS and the dexterity perk. Obviously, before the changes, in the beta you couldn't aim down sight while sliding, wall jumping or diving unless you equip the dexterity perk, and you guys know there were a lot of backlash on that. Well, with this change, they've completely changed that. They've scrapped the idea. So unlike how it was in the Black Ops 7 beta, the default right now will be you can aim down sight while sliding, wall jumping or diving, which means you're not gonna need to use the dexterity perk in order to do that. However, equipping the dexterity perk will still allow you to aim down sight or sprint to fire quicker, but like I said, you don't need dexterity perk to aim down sight while sliding, wall jumping and diving. That is no longer the case. From now on, dexterity will only increase the speed that you do these things, but you will no longer need it to aim down sight while sliding, wall jumping or diving, and that is definitely an awesome change. Following that, he goes on to talk about the footstep audio. They have slightly increased the footstep audio, but they haven't increased it to the point where Ninja is now unusable. No, he says that they've just slightly increased the footstep audio to make it better, to make it more hearable, but like I said, not crazy hearable. He says that they believe that what is right now is the perfect balance of the footstep audio. But let's be honest, the footstep audio in Call of Duty is a tale as old as time. Every single Call of Duty game that releases, they can never get footstep audio right. Sometimes it's way too loud, sometimes not loud enough, and even though every studio says that where it is right now is the perfect balance, let's be honest, when it comes to footstep audio, they can never get it perfect. For whatever reason, footstep audio is something that is very difficult. They can never get 100% right. But of course, let's have to wait and see what this new changes will do before we can of course start talking about how the footstep audio is not perfectly balanced and it needs to be increased, or some will be saying it needs to be decreased. So like I said, we'll have to wait and see. Next on the list for Treyarch was the slide adjustments or slide tuning. They have slowed down the slide speed and also reduced the distance of slide, but he says that it's still gonna feel fluid and won't be a major difference. So of course, during the Black Ops 7 beta, when you were sliding, not only it was very fast, but you also would cover a lot of distance in one slide. So now at the launch of Black Ops 7, you won't be sliding that fast, and also you won't be covering much distance like you did in the Black Ops 7 beta. But then he goes on to say that it's not really a major difference. You won't even feel it, maybe only slightly, but like I said, it's not a major difference. Now to be completely honest with you guys, I believe that the slide in Black Ops 7 was actually perfect, at least from where I played in the Black Ops 7 beta. I felt like it wasn't too fast, but it also did not cover way too much space, but also it wasn't only like 3 centimeters. Like I said, I felt it was perfect, the speed and the distance covered, but apparently not. Treyarch felt a different way, and they have, like I said, reduced the distance of slide and also slowed down the slide speed. Again, we'll have to check it out at launch, see how it plays and how it is different from the Black Ops 7 beta before we can of course say if this is a good change or a massive L change. Following that, they have also addressed the mantle speeds. Let's be honest, if you played Black Ops 7 beta, the mantle speed or the climbing of ladders and stuff were just super slow, and what was even worse was after you climbing or you mantled a window or something, your operator would take about 1,000,000 years just to get his weapon ready. So anything regarding mantling or climbing ladders or anything like that was very slow, and thankfully they have addressed that. They have officially increased the mantle speeds. Matt goes on to say that they've went and looked back at every mantle area or every climbing area, and they've actually made adjustments to make it faster. So yes, that's definitely a massive W. A lot of times you'd be climbing a window or mantling something and you'd get shot from behind. You stood absolutely no chance, but with this change that should no longer be the case, and you should still have some sort of a chance if you're mantling or climbing ladders, even if there's an enemy shooting at you. So like I said, that is definitely a massive W change. Now let's move on to what is probably the biggest change in this dev talk from Treyarch, and that is some perk changes or perk movement. First of all, Tech Mask has been moved from slot 1 to slot 2, Scavenger has been moved from slot 1 to slot 2, Cold Blood has been moved from slot 1 to slot 3, Lupa has been moved from slot 2 to slot 3, Tactical Sprint has been moved from slot 3 to slot 1, and finally Gearhead has been moved to perk slot 1. Now of course it goes without saying that perk slot 1 in the Black Ops 7 beta was absolutely stacked. There were a lot of awesome perks, but unfortunately you couldn't pick everything. So they have made these changes to balance out the 3 perk slots. Now perk 1 is not as stacked as it was. There are some good perks in perk 2, perk 3 and also perk 1, and you can actually pick between them, so that is very awesome. But not only that, now it actually makes you think about what you want to pick when it comes to wildcards. Do you pick perk greed or do you pick gunfighter? For example, do you want to pick tac sprint and cold blooded? Well, guess what, you can't do that because they're now both in perk slot 1. Another example that I'm gonna give you guys, and I saw this during the beta, a lot of players were running Lupa, which allows you to loop your streaks, and they were combining that with bankroll, which not only starts you with some score but also allows you to end your streaks faster. And it was absolutely a speed glitch because you were getting your streaks very fast, but now you can't do that unless you of course use the wildcard perk grid, but then you're missing out on gunfighter. So like I said, not only it makes you think about what perks you wanna run, but also what wildcards you wanna run, because do you want perk grid or do you wanna go with 8 attachments with gunfighter? Like I said, it just makes you think more about what decision you wanna do when it comes to not only the perks but also wildcards. Like I said, it's definitely good change, and it makes you think about what you wanna pick in your loadout. However, it doesn't end there just yet, because as we're on the topic of perks, they have also gone and combined some perks together. So for example, Shadow, which allows you to not trigger traps or mines, has been combined with Engineer. So not only you get the benefits of Engineer, which allows you to see score streaks and traps through walls and are outlined in red, but you also add the Shadow perk benefit to it, which just makes it absolutely amazing. Vendetta, which allows you to see the location of the last enemy that killed you, has been combined with Assassin. Bruiser, which regens your health and gives you scope for melee kills, has been combined with Close Shave. Hunter's Instinct, which gives you intel about the nearby enemy after you get a kill, has been combined with Tracker. And finally, for Quartermaster, which recharges your equipment over time, has been combined with Gearhead. Now they say the reason that these perks were actually combined together was because Shadow, Vendetta, Bruiser, Hunter's Instinct and Quartermaster were perks that were niche and not a lot of players were using them. So instead of just having them in the game as extra perks, they decided to combine them with other perks. Like I said, this is definitely some interesting changes, but it only makes these other perks even more overpowered. Cannot wait to use them now with these perk combinations. And to finish off with the dev talk, Matt spoke about the aim assist and the rotational aim assist. Now they did say that they were looking into it and that they were gonna change it to make it fair for controller players and also mouse and keyboard players. Now he didn't go into a lot of details in this dev talk, but he did say that the controller players tend to win the close range engagements, while mouse and keyboard players tend to win the long range engagements, and that they are working to close that gap and make it more fair for everyone at every range, while also taking a closer look at the rotational aim assist and see what they can do there. Unfortunately, this is everything they talked about it, but they did promise more dev talk in the upcoming weeks as we lead to the Black Ops 7's launch. And of course, we're not far off from the launch, only 3 weeks remaining. Very excited. Black Ops 7, I'm telling you guys, is shaping out to be a very awesome game. It's looking very promising with all of these changes, the removal of SBMM and all that. I'm telling you guys, if it is handled well post launch, this could be one of the best Call of Duty games we've had since probably Black Ops 3, but of course let's have to wait and see. But everything, like I said, is looking very promising. But with all that being said, what do you guys think about these changes? Are they W, are they an L? Make sure to tell me in the comment section down below. But with that being said, make sure to click the on the screen right now to learn about the removal of SBMM in Black Ops 7. Thank you guys for watching this video.